Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So this is episode number 5 from the notes on self-development. Is self-development, inshallah. So this is for the 5th one, inshallah, we're going to be talking about the loudmouths, inshallah. So basically and encouraging the people to not be the loudmouth, inshallah. So what I said here, as what I wrote is I said, Don't be deceived by the loudest person in the room. The loudest person in the room is the one seeking the attention of the people, and he is generally the biggest loser in the room. He has to gain the attention of the people because that is how he values himself. Without the attention, he feels no value. This is the clown or the jester of the king's court. The real man who is truly working towards achieving the goals he laid out for himself moves in silence. He is the one the people will be talking about later, and he is the one people will be writing about in the history books. The clown will be forgotten as soon as he shuts his loud mouth. So, and this is the reality, because a lot of the people, they tend to focus their attention on the loudest voice. So whoever's talking the loudest, the people's attention, it will shoot over to that and focus on that. And they're not even focusing on the content of what the person's saying, because in the end, what we're looking for is we're looking for benefit. We're not looking to waste our time, and we're not looking to be entertained. If we listen to a person, we're trying to get some type of benefit from that person. So we look at the content, and it doesn't matter how loud the person speaks, or how quiet the person speaks, or how much the person speaks, or how little the person speaks. The important thing is what are we benefiting from listening to this person speak? And that's the most important thing. And the people that tend to divert their attention to the loudmouth, those are the people that are just out to waste time. They're not concentrating on what they're trying to benefit, nor are they even focusing on the content of what the person's saying. These are people that they get involved in emotional content, basically. That's what they get involved in. So anything that's like sparks their emotions and makes them feel a certain way, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for benefit. And benefit is not always going to spark your emotions. The emotion, you see these type of demagogue type of people who only talk to the emotions of the people. They're talking to the lowest level, and they're talking to the lowest strata of knowledge, the lowest strata even of society. So when we focus on things, we're trying to raise the people to the highest of heights. And we do that through benefit. We do that through telling the people the things that they need to hear, not what they want to hear, not what they're emotionally attached to. So he said the loudest person in the room is the one seeking the attention of the people. And that's the truth. And that's why he's loud. He's loud because he wants all the eyes to be on him. He wants the people to be focused on him and not focusing on what's more beneficial for them. And he is generally the biggest loser in the room. And that's what happens with a lot of these loudmouths. When you really start to look at their lives, when you start to look at who they are as a person, when you look at everything about them, you'll realize that this person is just a loser. This person is just trying to get attention because this is what the person thrives on. Otherwise, once the person shuts his mouth, then he has to focus on his life and look at his life and see what he hasn't accomplished. He hasn't accomplished anything. And just getting people to listen to you, it doesn't mean that you've accomplished anything, because you haven't produced anything. Because if you were a true leader, you would have produced other leaders. You would have produced people to take your place and people that also can take the reins and lead in your absence. But this loudmouth never produces anything like that. He doesn't even produce somebody who can talk in his absence. Allahumma musta'an. So he said he has to gain the attention of people because that is how he values himself. He has no value without the attention of the people. Without the attention, he feels no value. This is the clown or the jester of the king's court, the one just seeking attention. The real man who is truly working towards achieving the goals he laid out for himself moves in silence, because the real people are busy doing things. You're never going to hear him talking about what he's doing, what he's trying to do, what he's reading, what he's memorizing, what he's studying. Well, he's just doing it. He's just getting it done. And you find out about this stuff later, after he's already done these things, after he's accomplished what he set out to accomplish. You read about his life later. But you're not gonna hear about it because he's too busy trying to get these things accomplished. He doesn't have time to talk about it. And only the closest people in his inner circle are gonna be the people that actually know what he's doing. Because what he's gonna be doing is the type of person that's looking for benefit is he's gonna keep those people close to him. Whether it's just one person, maybe it's 2 people, maybe 3 at the most. He's gonna keep these people around him that are also doing the same thing. And they're also all moving in silence. So they all know what each other's doing, but they're too busy to talk about it. outside of their little circle, because what they're doing is they're focused on benefiting together and sharing the benefit that each one gets, because this person might be focusing on one science, the other person focusing on another. I can sit down and revise what I'm learning with this person. He learns from me and he revises what he's learning and I learn from him, and we're all benefiting. And that's those are the people, the real achievers, the real people that are, that are out to really get something in this life and make something of themselves before their deaths and leave something behind for the people to benefit from. So he said, the real man who is truly working towards achieving the goals he laid out for himself moves in silence. And also because you don't want people to know what you're doing, because especially clowns and losers, they tend to try to destroy anything that you're trying to achieve, especially people that you might have been close to before you started to change your life around, because those people, they kind of want to keep you in the gutter with them. They don't want you to start to move out. They don't want you to start to progress and become a better person, because then you're moving away from them. And then when you do that, then they have to recognize themselves that they're losers, because they're watching you progress, and it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel like so what do they have to do? They have to, set out to destroy what you're doing. So the best thing with your goals and the things that you're trying to achieve, you keep that silent. And if you do discuss it, you discuss it with those 1 or 2, 3 people that are around you that are very close, that are also doing the same thing. And they're also discussing what they're trying to do with you. And that's it. Outside of that circle, you discuss nothing with nobody. He said he is the one the people will be talking about later, and he is the one people will be writing about in the history books. And because his life will be actually worth reading about, because he's accomplished something. People will want to read his life because it's motivational. They can look into his life and say, wow, he did this, I can do this. Like, now I'm going to pattern my life after this person. And they work to achieve. And that's why it's beneficial to read these biographies of the people. It's not just beneficial, but if you're trying to achieve something like huge in your life, you have to read about people who have done that. You have to constantly read about the lives of people who have done that, and look at the discipline that they had. Look at the way that how they focus on what they were doing, and how they left off all the stuff that they desired to do to focus on the things that they knew they had to do to achieve the goals that they set for themselves. So he said, so these are the people that history writes about, because these are the people that people actually want to read about. And he said the clown will be forgotten as soon as he shuts his loud mouth. And most of the time, the clown will never shut his loud mouth. He shuts his loud mouth when he dies. And when he dies, nobody cares about him. Nobody's going to write about him. The last thing that's probably going to be written about him is a very short obituary. And it's not going to have a lot of names on the obituary, because nobody cared about the clown. He won't realize that until his death, and nobody really cared about him. Nobody cared about him. He cared about the attention of the people, but in reality, as soon as the people left his company, they forgot about him. But you have the person to benefit. Those people remember them 20 years later, 30 years later. They still remember those individuals, the people that they really achieved, like they really got benefit from. The people that helped them to achieve their goals, and the people that gave them certain knowledge that they needed to push them to that next level. And those people are never forgotten. Never forgotten. Never forgotten. They're, not forgotten while they're alive amongst the people who benefited from them. And they won't be forgotten from the people, again, from the knowledge that continues to carry on. Even if the people forget the name of the person. But the knowledge, the knowledge and benefit that person left behind continues to live on. والله المستعان وإلى هنا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.